So we'll get started here with a nice grounding meditation. Come to find a comfortable seat. There we go in here. Put your devices on silent. At least for like 5 minutes. It's about a 7-8 minute grounding. And we'll come to sit nice and comfortable, nice and tall. I like sitting cross-legged, but you might feel better in a chair with your legs out in front of you. If you feel lower back pain sitting up tall, you just want to get your hips higher than your knees. So if your knees don't touch the ground, mine don't. 17 years, mine don't. Maybe never they will. Maybe they never will. It's all good. You just want to sit up maybe on a stack of books or a yoga block, just to elevate your hips. It's going to make it easier on your lower back. So heart over hips, head over heart. Hands come to rest on the lap. Either palms down to ground down or palms up to give and receive energy. If you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close or lower to a soft gaze just ahead of you if that's more comfortable. And we'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears. And out through the mouth with an audible sigh, the shoulders drop down. Returning to a natural breath just in and out through the nose if that's available. And take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. Allowing sounds into your awareness. Maybe the sound of passing traffic outside the window. The humming of appliances in your kitchen. Allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And the weight, where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. And begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity, any restlessness or fidgeting. And taking note to work into these spaces that call out to you throughout your practice here today. We'll shift that awareness from Annamaya Kosha, the body, to Pranamaya Kosha, the energetic level. Notice on a scale of 1 to 10, where you're at in this moment. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready for bed. 10 being so full of energy, it's hard to sit still. And bring the attention to the breath. No need to change your breathing, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. And shifting the awareness up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Allowing thoughts and emotions to arise. And no need to engage. And just observe these thoughts from a distance, like clouds passing in the sky. And just notice, what are the quality of the thoughts today? Do they have a positive or negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. Bring your attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Each inhalation brings in a little more air. And every exhalation lets something more go. The inhales, belly inflates like a balloon being inflated. It expands, opening ribs expand out to the sides to make room. And on the exhale, belly button pulls in towards spine, completely deflating all the torso and belly, letting all the air out. Full belly breathing in, expansion, breathing in through the nose. And full exhalation out, exhaling as well through the nose if that's available. And we're attempting to deepen and lengthen the breath. There's space between top and bottom teeth, the jaw hangs heavy, tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. Still, we're seated up tall like there's a string pulling you up from the crown of the head towards the sky. Shoulders pulled back. Hips relax. And we'll begin our equal parts breathing practice. So on the inhale, giving it a count in your head silently. Just counting up until you have no more space for air. So get to the top of your inhale, whatever that number is. 5, 8, 18. Match it to your exhale. So get to the top of the inhale, begin to exhale, continue or restart the count to get to 5 or 8 or 18, whatever your number is. So we're matching the length of the inhalation to the length of the exhalation, equal parts breath. your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, back to your counting. And the next time you exhale, no rush to get there. Just release whatever counting or effort you're putting into the breath, returning to a natural pace. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice. It might be the Sankalpa you've been working with, or we've been working on all together all year, or something new might inspire you, your reason for showing up today. Perhaps it's a person that you're sending good intentions to, or more than good intentions, right? Like, what do we cultivate here? Strength, flexibility, compassion, love. Maybe someone in your life needs that right now. So you can dedicate this practice to them. Or maybe you're trying to cultivate some other characteristic in yourself, some patience, perhaps some healing. And in that case, you would just claim it as an affirmation. So it would sound positive and present in the affirmative. So it sounds like I am healing or I am patient. And then you just get to kind of observe how often that shows up in class for you. Gracie, thank you for popping in. Much love from me to you. One day you can join in. I'm sure I'm here every morning. All right, so take a moment to set that intention. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. Of course, you're invited to chant along with me. First is just the cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap. Chin drops towards chest. And on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. Left ear rolls to left shoulder. Just allowing the head to roll side to side like this. Eyes can stay closed. Just beginning to open up that space between shoulders and ears, the trapezius muscle, upper back. And the next time the head rolls through center, bring it up to neutral and begin to roll the shoulders forward, opening up the upper back. Roll the shoulders back, opening up the chest. Nice. Alright, coming to stillness in the shoulders. Let's work on some neck resiliency. I feel like we haven't done this in like a week maybe. So I'm going to turn this way so you can actually see what I'm doing. But you can stay facing forward. So we're staying up nice and tall. And then chin drops towards chest, scooping down, almost like you're making a circle with the nose, then forward, up, 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 back, and chin tucks back in towards chest to make a nice long circular motion. Or nice slow, I should say. So it's a slow circuit, opening up space, your cervical spine. Shoulders stay relaxed, whole body is relaxed and still. Just the head and neck are doing the work here. You're trying to get to the very edge of your range of motion. We're going to change directions. The chin tucks in, we pull the head back, 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 and up. And now the chin is leading forward, down, and scoop it back in and up. Smoothing out that movement. Back to center. All right. This off the internet. Music will figure out what it wants to do. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Oh, I've got a Luna hair in my eyeball. Yeah, I do. Okay. And exhale, we're going to bend over to the right. Left arm reaches over. Inhale up through center. And exhale to the left. So we're following the breath in to rise and out to bend. Both hips stay glued to the ground. So I'm not letting myself like tip over or anything like that. I'm expanding the side ribs, the intercostal muscles, the obliques are all getting a nice deep stretch here. And still I'm breathing. So we're stretching from the outside by reaching, right? And we're stretching from the inside by breathing and filling in that skeletal space with air. Back up to center, we'll take it to a twist. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind you, chest opening towards side wall. Inhale up through center, and exhale, twist it left. Following your breath in to rise, and out to twist, alternating sides. So with the twists, we want to stay nice and tall in the spine so that it can be equally distributed between your lower, middle, and upper back, lumbar, transverse, and cervical spine. But we're not even focusing so much on the neck here, really here. We're working on the two lower parts. You're itching her nose. She's just like a little ninja behind me. You can't even see her. Okay. Back to the middle. Elbows bend, hands to the ears. Let's warm up the hands and wrists before putting any weight on them. Just giving it a wave. Then hands come down, or rather bend down, fingers wiggle from one side to the other, full range of motion. Palms look towards the sky. It's like you're trying to bring the backs of your fingers to your forearms. Fingers spread wide, reaching, 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 tilting back, and full range of motion, rotation. And we'll just shake off water nice and gentle, like for 3, 2, 1. Extend the legs out in front, spread and scrunch the toes. Roll out the ankles. Then bend in the knees, feet come nice and wide, and just drop the knees side to side. Grab this real quick. So you're just letting your knees fall from side to side, letting the hips wake up. Crisis averted. Okay. And then next time the knees fall over to the right, let's just bring our hands to frame the left knee, the right knee rather, and we'll come back into our tabletop pose. So I do a little wrist stuff before we head into all of the cool, yeah, sweet. So the hands turn out to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Okay, so we'll turn this way so you can see what I'm talking about. Nope, I don't really have space. Here we go. So 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Then what we're going to be doing, what we'll do is lean side to side. So my shoulders are still over my wrists. I'm not forward, I'm not back. Right above them. We're going side to side. Now the closer your hands come together, your wrists come together, the less your range of motion is going to be. And if even just bringing the wrists together brings active pain to the wrists, then just bring them a little bit further apart. That's great too. There's not really like a medal for having like the most flexible wrists. We're just kind of like undoing or helping to alleviate some of the damage of like doom scrolling and gripping a steering wheel in traffic and texting, whatever repetitive movements you do with your hands. This is like all about letting that go. Also building up strength in the wrist. So I first learned this in yoga class, and it was about undoing the repetitive movements. And then I learned it in pole dancing, and it was to build up your resiliency in the joints and build up strength in the wrists. And then I recently was taught it, or retaught it, by someone in the functional movement fitness world. Although he'd resent the fact that I called it fitness, but yeah, no. And it was all about not getting hurt. Like, God forbid you fall on ice and fall on your hands. You don't want your wrists to just like shatter. So, same movement, 3 different teachers, 3 different disciplines. I think that's like enough signs that it's worth doing. So, let's stop over the right wrist. So we're as far as we can go on the right wrist. And when I say as far as you can go, just notice sometimes your body can go further than is good for you. So you can lean even further than is good for you. And if you're feeling like it's taking your breath away because the pain is so intense, then it's too far. Just like take it a couple degrees less. You want to be at like an 8 max for pain. And we'll bring it over to the left. So this is really intense for me too, right? My edge of where it's like, okay, this amount of intensity, like kind of, maybe don't want to use the word pain, but it can be painful, is the amount that is beneficial, if that makes sense, versus trying to prove something or like break a new record. I'm just like, no, today this is the angle at which it's intense enough that I feel it. Alright, we'll bring it back to the middle. I'm just going to tuck my toes under. I'm just turning like angles. You don't have to turn angles just so you can see. Tucking my toes under to bring my hands back to normal, and then sit back on my heels. Just going to give a little wrist massage. Get some blood back into there. So we have like a bunch of like little bones and stuff in our wrist. We don't have as many blood vessels to like circulate that in there. It's like mostly just bone. Our wrists are pretty insane, like at least compared to like the rest of our skeletal system. They're like very intricate, and so we can do all these like really crazy things with them. I don't know. I think that's fascinating. I nerd out about it. All right, shake it out. 3, 2, 1. Hands come down onto the ground. I'm just going to face you because it's easier. You might already be facing me, which would be cool. We'll just go through, let's just go through a couple cat and cow stretches Belly drops, hips and chest rise for cow pose, inhaling and exhaling round in the spine, chin tucks towards chest, pressing the ground away. Following the breath, in for cow pose, out for cat. Once more, cow. Last time for cat. We'll bring it to neutral. Let your left forearm release down to the mat. Bend your right knee and just begin to draw circles with this right knee. So you can let your lower back kind of get involved. Circles can be big or small, fast or slow. We're just waking up this right hip. And we're also just kind of almost like taking a diagnostic. We're just like checking out what is going on in that area of the body. We'll let the knee come down, switch arms. Right forearm comes down to the ground. So when I say forearm, I mean wrist to elbow is flat on the ground. I know I'm a little tight in this camera angle, so you can't like see exactly what I'm doing. But we've done it before. And don't worry, there's not really a wrong way of doing it if it is your first time here, your first time doing this movement. You can change directions, just like a little free movement, a little interpretive movement, if you will. We'll place that knee down, back onto hands and knees, tabletop. Right knee open straight, open to the side like fire hydrant. Slow motion side kick. Let the heel come back in towards the hip. And then knees come together. I'm not even touching this knee down. The knee just touches the other. Knee rises. Slow motion extend. Try to keep your shoulders over your wrist. Don't let them like slide over to the side to compensate. Knee bends. Knee lowers. Knee rises. Leg extends. And this time the foot comes down. Yeah. Okay. Walking the hands in and up. And I'm decapitated. Okay. So close. There we go. Okay. So here we are in gate pose. Oh, the Luna hair. Okay. So I'm pressing into the pinky side edge of my right foot. Hips are pressed forward. And hip is stacked over the knee. Arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, we bend over to the right. Left arm is reaching up and over, so I'm pressing through the hip, opening up the side body once more. Bottom arm barely pressing into anything. We don't really want pressing into the knee or anything. In fact, you can grab across the belly towards the opposite hip to avoid that pressure. Deep breath in here. And exhale, it's a half cartwheel to the left. Hand comes down, our right arm towards the sky, shoulders stacked on top of one another. Flex through the right foot and let it rise up. So it's a gentle tap down and rise. So I'm squeezing this like gluteus medius, whole outside part, IT band, all that jazz. We're using the side body to lift the leg up to parallel to the ground and then just tap it down. 2, 1. Hold it here for a full breath. I'm pressing through the heel like I'm pressing the wall behind me for stability. Obviously, my foot's not touching it, but it's almost like I'm using it to help me here. And bend in the knee, grab the foot, and press the hips forward. So I'm pressing the knee back and the hips forward for a quad stretch, bringing the heel towards the glute. One more breath here. And slow motion, release, extend the leg, float the foot down, top hand comes down to the ground and walks forward. So right leg is extended out, left knee under left hip. I'm sending the hips forward and back. Beginning to stretch out the inner right thigh, hip flexor, groin, all that area. Once again, just a little free interpretive movement, just pressing the hips forward and back with a focus on stretching out the inner right leg. When you find a space along that trajectory, it can be forward or back. That feels like a nice deep stretch. We'll hold it there for one full breath. Hands press into the ground. We'll bring it back up to tabletop pose. Knees under hips and hands under shoulders. This way a little bit. Then the left knee rises up. Slow motion side kick. Shoulders stay over the wrists. Knee bends. And knee touches down towards the right knee. Knee lifts. Leg extends. Knee bends. Leg lowers. Knee lifts. Leg extends. And gently touch the foot down. Pressing into the pinky side edge of the foot. Walk the hands in to come upright for gate pose. Right knee under right hip, left leg extended straight and arms sweep up overhead. Deep breath in. And exhale, bend over to the left. Right arm really reaching up and over. Keep the chest open so I'm not like leaning towards that extended leg or anything like that. And the bottom hand can sweep in front of the belly, grabbing for opposite hip or side of the body. Really pressing open with this hip and these side ribs, opening intercostal muscles, breathing into and stretching out the obliques. Last deep stretch, deep breath here. And exhale, it's a half cartwheel to the ground. Right hand touches down, left arm straight up towards the sky. Press through the left foot. And we're just coming to lift this leg up, engaging all these side muscles, and it's a gentle tap down. As soon as your foot touches down, we bring it back up. So it can feel like putting weight on the foot is going to actually make it easier for you, like you get to take a little break in between. But I find it's actually more difficult than just tapping and keeping the engagement the entirety of the movement. Because like all those little breaks, it takes so much more energy to restart the movement, like re-engage everything after I've let it relax. It's like when you go for a really long walk at the park, and you finally sit down on a park bench and you're like, oh, I didn't realize how tired I was. I think we just got one more here. You're doing great. Up here, let's bend in the knee. Oh, actually, let's keep it flexed and extended out for a full breath. And bend in the knee. Hand reaches back to grab the top of the foot. Still keeping the thigh parallel to the ground. We're bringing the heel in towards the glute, pressing the hip forward and pulling the knee back. So it's a nice deep quad stretch in this. I don't know what we would call this. Kneeling half moon. Nope, I got nothing. I got nothing for this shape, guys. It's a new shape. One more deep breath here. And a slow motion release in reverse. So I let go of my foot, extend it out, foot touches down, top hand comes down to the ground, I walk it forward. There we go. And then with this left leg still extended, I begin to press forward and back with the hips, opening up this space in the inner left leg, inner left thigh. Your own speed, your own pace. And you find a space along this trajectory that feels good, like a nice deep stretch. We'll hold it there for a whole deep breath. And hands press into the ground. Bring yourself back upright to tabletop pose. Trying to face the front of the mat. Maybe you have been this whole time, but I wasn't. So, there we go. That's better. Bring the right foot up between the hands, and the left foot steps up to meet it. Heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat, allowing a nice little bend in the knees. You can rock the head, yes. Ragdoll pose. Give the head a shake, no. Grab opposite elbows to create a frame for the head. Then give yourself a little rock side to side, bending one knee and then the other, perhaps. Just letting the top half of the body be relaxed. And coming to stillness, release the hands. Heel toe the feet in towards one another. And inhale to a halfway lift. Hands come onto shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And then rolling up one vertebra at a time. From the base of the spine up towards the heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good morning, Active Crisp. I like your name. I try to follow along, but sometimes I get distracted watching instead. That's okay. It's like it's really different doing this all online instead of doing it like in person. It would be like a totally different experience. But since we're all here just virtually, you know, we're all just doing the best that we can. So good for you trying to follow along. Sandwich to the left side twice. Okay, so this is a very common thing, so the fact that you guys are following along at all is awesome. To realize the first time was supposed to be the right side. Yes. I'm sorry, left. I have a really stretched out left side. Arms sweep up on the inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Give a little bend to my knees to protect my lower back as I fold forward. Inhale, half lift, hands on shins. And then from here, let's actually play a little bit and bring the hands to the hips, bend in the knees. And just begin to lift the right foot. So I'm just balancing on this left leg, right? And then it's going to be a step back. We're going to do it slow motion. So as my head comes forward, my leg comes back. It's like a little pseudo warrior 3. This knee is bending to land in a nice high lunge. Yeah? All right, so maybe don't look exactly like that. Maybe took you a couple steps back. It's all good. Either way, we want the right leg back and the left knee over left ankle. So left leg is bent, right leg is back. Hands are on the hips, shoulders are up over the hips. And this high lunge. Arms can come up overhead. And on the exhale, shoulders just melt away. So I just give a little bend to my elbows so my shoulders can relax. So inhaling here, I'm going to straighten out the front leg. So both legs are straight and I'm reaching towards the sky. On the exhale, both knees bend and I'm bending in the elbows like almost like making a cactus, or almost like I'm going to bring my elbows towards one another, like my elbows are going to touch behind me, shoulder blades squeeze together. Inhaling to rise, legs extend. Exhaling, knees bend and lower. Inhaling to rise. Remember what I said before. I'm not really letting my right knee rest on the ground. It's just barely grazing the ground. If I were to rest it down here, it would take a lot more energy for me to activate and come back up to this standing lunge. This is the last one. And we bring it up, and then back to our normal lunge with just the left knee bent. Hands onto the hips, and then bring in the back foot, maybe 6 inches or so, and walk the left foot towards the left edge of the mat. So my feet are nice and wide. I'm not on a balance beam. There's space between. Straighten out the front left leg. We'll take a deep breath in here, get tall. And exhale, hinge from the hips. So my right hip specifically is being pulled back, left hip pulling forward to keep the hips square. And I'm just coming down as far as I can with a flat back foot. Know I'm going to round, then just bring it up a little bit. So we don't want to round in the spine just yet. You should feel a deep stretch in the back of the left leg here. And then maybe the hands can release down as the back rounds onto blocks, stacked books. They can land on the standing leg, but not on the knee. So you can land lower. Still, the left hip's pulling back, right hip's pressing forward, keeping the hips square. And if allowing your back to round, allowing your head to be heavy, brings any sharp pain to your lower back, then instead, just try to keep a nice, long, flat back. Yeah? More of a nose to toe. So it's called Tadasana pyramid pose. So we're breathing fully, even in the discomfort of this position. If you feel like you've got a lot of space to play with, you can always lift the front toes so you're on the heel. But just notice, if you feel like this is really easy, it might be because your left hip has traveled forward and you're more like a split position in the hips, and that's not really the point. We're trying to open up the hamstring and the back of the leg. Oh, did we just get raided? Mel's Camp. Welcome, welcome. Kitten Kung Fu. I appreciate you guys. Welcome in. We're just in the middle of a leg stretch called Tadasana pyramid pose. Awesome, awesome. All right, so we just got, that was probably our last breath actually. Let's give it a nice deep bend into this left knee. Hands come onto the ground, and right foot steps up to me, left big toes, heel toe in to touch, a little space between the ankles. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Yeah, what Bodhi said. How was your stream? What were you guys up to? Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Eyes follow fingertips. And exhale, forward fold. It's like a little bend in the knees. I like bringing my hands down through heart center. It's just safer for the lower back. Inhale, half lift. And then exhale, hands come onto the hips. Bend nice and deep in the knees, and we'll begin to float this left foot. You're right. If this was in person, I wouldn't have the leisure to just stop and watch. True life. Great practice. Totally refilled. That's awesome to hear. I'm glad. Good job. Good. Yeah. It's Monday. Little movement in, right? All right. So now we have this left foot floating. And we're going to send it back through Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. The head comes forward. The leg comes back. Get a little hang time here, like the letter T. And then bend in the right knee to slowly lower this left foot down to the ground. And it's all good, right? It's all good if it took you more than one step to get there. If you didn't want big flow, go you. And if you had to take a couple steps to get there, that's great too. All getting there one way or another. Left hip press forward, right hip press back, right knee over right ankle. Back heel is off the ground, facing forward. So I'm pressing my heel back, even though it's not going to touch the ground. Shoulders over the hips, arms sweep up on the inhale. And exhale, shoulders melt away. So we'll find a drishti, a focal point. If you find yourself really wobbly on the other side, just find a place to focus your eyes on ahead of you It might be just above your screen or on the floor. And then don't let your concentration break from there. As we inhale, both legs extend straight like someone's pulling your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, bend in the knees, bend in the elbows, shoulder blades squeeze like the elbows are going to touch together behind you. Knee just gently taps. Not even taps, it grazes. And the inhale brings you back upright. Exhale, knees bend, elbows bend. Knee taps. And inhale to rise. So we're working on our stabilizing, balancing muscles here. And of course, we're strengthening the legs as well with these split squats. We're just doing them at like 0.5 speed of what you would normally do them. So we can really build up all the little supporting muscles. So yoga is all about building up the supporting cast of stabilizing muscles. This is our last one. Back up to rise, and then just the right knee bends, left leg stays strong. Hands come onto the hips, and we'll step the left foot in just about 6 inches so that the heel can come down to the ground. I'm going to move my right foot even more to the right. My back foot's at a 45-degree angle, like warrior one. Extend the right leg straight, so both my legs are straight, both my heels are on the ground. Hands are on the hips to make sure the right hip is pulled back, left hip is pressed forward, so that if there were strings attached to my hip bones, they'd be the same distance to the wall ahead of me. One wouldn't be longer or shorter than the other. Deep breath in to get tall. And exhale, hinge forward with a super flat back. So you only want to go as far down as you can without rounding the back. And then once you get to this edge, take another deep breath in and out. And then as you release your hands down to the ground to stack books to a block, you can let a little rounding in the spine come through, or you can keep working on just keeping the back as flat as possible. Either way, it's just 2 different variations. Different teachers teach it different ways. My preference is to have my back flat, but that's just because that was my first teacher taught it to me that way. I don't think there's anything wrong with the back rounded version. So Parsvottanasana, you can also work on rounding, or rather like tucking the chin in to bring the head towards the shin. But I feel like it's more important that with the leg stretch here than it is with the back rounding. Like there's just better poses to get your back space open, but I don't know, a bunch of yoga teachers would disagree with me there, so I just want to give you guys that option. All the while I'm pulling my right hip back, pressing my left hip forward. I'm really focusing on my legs here, just a personal preference, so that's the invitation here as well. If you feel like you've got a lot of space and your hips are square, you can always lift the right toes. And I'm really pressing, like grinding my heel into the ground for even more leverage to open up the back of the leg. Still my knee is completely straight. So if you're just working towards straightening out the leg, that's beautiful too. You are in a good place. If you got something to do, right? Last full breath here. And bend in the right knee. Left foot steps up to meet right, heel toe the feet together, big toes touch, a little space between the ankles, and inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale brings you all the way up to stand, arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. We'll turn to face one another. Cool, cool, cool. Too much. Just right. Better. Cool. Yep. Kind of helping, kind of not. I don't know. Still working on it. All right, so we'll face one another and reconnect with that drishti, that focal point up ahead of you. Hands come onto the hips. And then we'll bring the right knee in towards the chest. Chest doesn't come towards the knee. just knee rises up towards the chest. Doesn't matter if it touches or not. Like my knee's not actually touching my chest. It's just going as far in that direction as it can. Then I'm going to bring my hands around the knee. Almost like a standing wind relieving pose. I'm going to use my bicep strength to pull the knee in towards the shoulder. I'm not using my shoulders to scrunch up. Shoulders stay melted away. Just biceps. Pull it in. That standing leg is straight and strong. I'm going to release the leg so the thigh is parallel to the floor. Left hand comes to the outside of the right knee. I'm just like hooking under, so it's like using a little bit of hand strength to hold up the leg. And then the right arm opens up behind me, opening the chest towards the right side for a standing twist. This is just like our Supta Matsyendrasana, just like Inception got shifted, so now we're balancing in it. Head comes back through center, hand comes back through center. Switch hands. So from the left hand outside the right knee, we'll bring the right hand to the outside of the right knee. And then knee opens, arm opens. So this hand's underneath, kind of helping hold it up. It's like Captain Morgan. No, I don't know. It's not really Captain Morgan, but kind of. And then from here, we're going to play 3 times. Slow motion, side kick. It's not really a side kick. Is Kai still here? She's going to tell me this isn't a side kick. But I'm kicking to the side. I'm extending this leg. Strengthening these quad muscles, strengthening this hip flexor. Bring it back to the middle. And float that foot down. Whew, deep breath in. Let it go. Cool. I know you want to shake out this right leg. I know you do. The standing left leg too. But we got another leg to go, baby. So left knee bends, pulls in towards the chest using just leg strength. Really, it's core strength, but you feel like leg strength, hip strength. Then the fingers interlace below the knee. We'll pull the knee in towards that shoulder. So a little trick here is instead of pulling it in towards the middle and then like your belly might get in the way or whatever's going on, it's like a little pull out to the side that was like really exaggerated just to show you. Avoid the belly to pull the knee in towards the armpit almost. Shoulders melt away. We're just using bicep strength to pull the knee in. We're isolating that muscle. No tension in the upper back at all. And releasing the leg until the thigh is parallel to the ground. Right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Left arm opens up, reaching behind you, opening the chest towards the side left wall. So I'm in a standing twist. So just to show you, it looks like this. This is our Supta Matsyendrasana, but no Supta, not reclining, we're balancing. Let's go balancing spinal twist. So I'm trying to bring this left shoulder to the wall behind me. Whoop. And we'll bring it back to center. Left hand comes to the outside left of the knee. And as the right arm opens, the left knee opens out to the side as well. We're counterbalancing with this hand. And we're going to work on 3 leg extensions. Bring the heel towards the side wall. Inhale to bend. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Knee bends. Hand and foot come through center. Float the foot down. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Okay, now we're going to shake it all out. So you can shake out the leg, shake out the standing leg. We're going to shake out the whole body, actually. Giving a bounce to it. Ugh. So, coming into the lymphatic shaking portion of our practice, just let the shoulders rise and drop heavily. The whole body just kind of flop. And you can be like full jumping, like that's cool too. Or you can just lift the heels and let them slam into the ground with bent knees to create this reverberation in the body. Different days, you might feel like you're doing different things, so feel free to take up space. You can now, invitation is to exhale through the mouth. There's like noises that show up for you. Now is the time. Take up space audibly as well. And when you feel like stopping, just double time. Releasing tension from the body. Unstucking any stuck energy. We're going to go into our breath of joy. It's a 4-part breath, and it looks like this. It's an inhale as the arms sweep forward, breathing in through the nose. Just a third of your air capacity in. Arms sweep open to the sides. Another third of your lung capacity in. And arms sweep forward once more. The rest of your lung capacity in. So full breath in. And a big ha. Arms sweep down and back as you yell out. Exhale, forceful exhale. So it's inhale, 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 big exhale. No inhales in between. Yeah? Goes in, in, ha! 10 of those. In, ha! In, ha! In, ha! 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 3 more if you haven't joined in yet. Now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! All right. Laying one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Eyes can close, feet are nice and wide stance. Let's just take a moment here to observe what was created. Perhaps higher body temperature, faster heart rate. But what else? And what else shows up for you when you allow yourself to take up space, physically and audibly? Or what resistance shows up to stop you from participating? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. You can gently blink your eyes open. Take a sip of water. Hello, Udit. How are you? Did you join us for that last exercise? Just join in right while we were yelling. You can wipe off sweat. All right. So you need at the end of the mat. It's a little bit lopsided, huh? Oh, you know what we'll do? Let's actually meet at the top of the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, hands come down to the ground, bend knee in the knees. And we'll send the left foot back, back, back. Releasing the knee gently onto the ground. And then heel toe the right foot towards the left hand. And slide the knee down to touch the right hand. So right knee, right hand touching. This foot in more so towards the hip. We're coming into a pigeon pose, shifting the left foot back, 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 trying to get both front hip bones to touch the ground. Like they're not, but I'm trying to keep them square, right? Right foot, heel is flexed. Untuck the left toes. When I look back, the foot's straight back. I'm not sickling in, just straight back. If I were to press my top foot into the ground, I could even lift the knee. Deep breath in here, shoulder blades squeeze together, proud pigeon pose, hands are by the hips. And exhale, waving down, belly, chest, head, reaching forward, forward, forward until they come down. And we'll just rest the head here. Head comes to land on top of stacked fists or hands, maybe a block or stacked books. Somewhere so that you don't feel like you're in a perpetual push-up. You want your whole top body relaxed so you can really focus on the stretch on the hip. That right hip, right glute, right leg area. Last deep breath here. And press the hands into the ground to come upright. Left toes tuck under. And bring the knee in just a bit so that you can slide your foot back under the body. Left foot steps up between the hands. Right foot steps up to meet them. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands touch down, and the right foot takes a giant step back. We'll slide the left foot over towards the right hand, and then drop the left knee towards left wrist. Left foot's going to come back in towards the right hip, and that's all good. And we slide the right foot back, 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 trying to get the front of the right hip to the ground as well. So if you feel yourself like sitting on this left butt cheek, bring it more towards center line. Both front hip bones are pressing towards the ground. Right toes untuck. Shoelace part of the foot's pressed into the ground, nice and straight. So hard that if you were to press into the ground, you could lift the knee. Hands come back behind you, proud pigeon, squeezing my shoulder blades together. Make a nice little back bend here. Deep breath in. And then exhale, it's belly, chest, head, reaching forward, 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 until you have to come down. Allowing the head to land on stacked fists, hands, stack of books or a block, anywhere so that you're not in a perpetual push-up. Your whole upper body can relax. Whole upper body supported so the body can relax. So you can just focus on the stretch in the left hip, left leg. Echo Pada Konasana, folded pigeon pose. Just releasing any tension that you feel that does not serve you. Any clenching in the jaw, holding in the shoulders. Last deep breath here, fullest expression of the pose. Press your hands into the ground to come upright, and now we will let ourselves just sit down on this left butt cheek, all the way coming to seated. Just shift the hips forward so that you have more space behind you. And seated up tall here in Dandasana. Oh, excuse me. Alright, sitting up tall here in Dandasana, staff pose like the letter L. Take a nice, big, tall, deep breath in. And exhale, we hinge forward with a flat back. Just like in our Parsvottanasana, we're keeping a flat back to the farthest edge of this posture. And when you know if you went any further, you'd have to round the spine. We take another breath in here. And exhale, releasing into our forward fold, Paschimottanasana, head to feet pose. My heels are pressing away, trying to press the backs of my knees into the ground. Like they don't. I have space underneath, but I'm working towards pressing. Like that's the direction of the energy of the body. My heels are pressed away to make that happen. My heels can even press away so hard that my calves press into the ground and heels lift up off the mat. I don't have to go that crazy, but that's the direction of the press, of the leg straightening. The arms, they can hold on. That can help. It can feel like if you're up here, and this is your edge, it can feel nice to actually grab onto the shins and then pull the chest towards the feet. So at different parts of progression in this posture, your hands can either help or kind of hurt. So at a certain point, you just want to let them kind of hang out. We're just breathing here. Every exhale is an invitation to soften into the pose. If letting your head hang heavy brings any pain to the lower back or the hamstrings, just keep it a nose towards toes or crown of the head towards toes type movement instead of a forehead to knees kind of thing. That's not really going to be helpful to you if you're starting to feel sharp pain from the weight of your head. So you can just keep the neck active here to avoid that pressure and potential damage. So every inhale brings in a little space, like a little opportunity to lengthen the spine. And every exhale is an invitation to soften and just kind of deepen into the pose. As we pull the belly button in towards the spine, we find more space between belly and thighs. we'll gently press hands into the ground to come back up to seated. Bend in the knees and we'll roll back nice and gentle. Giving the lower back a little massage here. We'll let the feet come down onto the mat, knees stay bent, hands down by the sides. Shoulder blades tuck under, and then we'll peel the spine up off the ground. Hips start, lower back, middle, upper back, shoulders tuck under for our Setu Bandhasana bridge pose. So this is just like the opposite stretch on the lower back than what we were just in. So yeah, let's play with a little supported bridge. So you might have the space here to bring your hands under your butt, and then walk the elbows in. So I'm literally letting my hips kind of rest on my hands. And squeeze the glutes to get them like high enough, right? So your hips have to be at least forearm height up for this to work. But it's kind of like a fun little thing to work towards. And then I'm just letting my hands really support my hips. It's a nice deep wrist stretch too. I'm not letting them pull me forward so much that my shoulders come up off the ground. I'm still keeping my shoulders on the ground so I can keep length in the lower back. There's still like a little press in my feet to keep my hips squared or like centered. If you're like, this is awful, I don't like this, then just keep the hips pressing up towards the sky. Maybe the fingers interlace below the back. And even if they don't, we're pressing the forearms into the ground for stability to keep the pressure in the shoulders, not in the neck. One more deep breath here. And release the shoulders, the upper back, middle, and lower back. Knees come in towards the body and then gently roll over to the right. Left hand lands on top of right knee. Right hand lands on top of left knee. Left arm opens up like the letter T. And you can look over that left arm for our Setu Bandhasana reclining twist. Left shoulder blades pressing towards the ground. Otherwise, the body's relaxed. Head comes up through center, knees come up through center. And let the knees release over to the left side. Left hand lands on top of the right knee. And right arm opens up like the letter T. You can look over that right arm to complete the twist. Can you guys see her little like leg on my thigh? Like assisting me in this twist. I love this dog so much, guys. I really, really do. So my right shoulder is pressing down towards the ground. Otherwise, everything's relaxed. No worries on whether the knees are touching the floor, touching one another. We're just letting the body relax. It's a spinal twist that we're focused on here. No. Bring the head back up through center. Bring the knees back up through center. Puppy paws. And just notice, is there any last stretch or wiggle or pose that your body's asking for as we prepare for Savasana, final relaxation pose? Doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name. Doesn't have to have a name at all. You just wiggle through what's going to work for you. Oh, really? The music just started. I pressed play like an hour ago. So all class, we tell our body what to do, all day really. And now we're just asking, is there anything that we can do back? Anything that would make this feel like a nice, well-rounded, beneficial practice. as we prepare for Savasana, final relaxation pose, just kind of finishing up whatever movements your body's intuitively asking for. We find ourselves in Savasana. Laying flat on your back, legs extended down the length of the mat, feet at least a foot apart, legs so relaxed the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Hands come to land away from the body. If laying flat on your back like this brings any pain to your lower back, you can keep the knees bent by bringing a pillow or a rolled blanket underneath them, or bring the pinky side edges of the foot to the side edges of the mat and drop the knees together in broken bridge. And you're just going to want to lift your hips, rounding a bit in the lower back like cat pose to bring your lumbar spine close to the ground, sort of lengthening the lower back. Otherwise, traditionally, the legs are just down the length of the mat. Hands land at least 6 inches from the body, palms face open to the sky, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable. If not, a soft gaze to the sky or ceiling is available as well. You can keep your eyes closed here. I'm just coming up to seated so that I can more easily guide you through this. I can't believe the music just started now. Thanks. Cool. So we will start this practice as we did the last one with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And allow the breathing to continue just in and out through the nose if that's available. Inviting your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Invite space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. The tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort by taking this time in Savasana to integrate. As we rest, we allow what was practiced to seep in from something practiced to something learned, building muscle memory, joint resiliency, and depth in our lung capacity, depth in our ability to focus and communicate with the messages our body, breath, and mind share with us. Allow the head to rest heavy, feeling where it makes contact with the ground below you. Throat and neck release. As the shoulders, upper back, and chest relax. The torso and the arms rest heavy, feeling where the knuckles, elbows, and spine connect with the earth below. Hips rest heavy like lead sinking into hot sand. Thighs, knees, and calves relax. As well as the ankles, feeling where the heels connect with the earth. All the feet relax. The whole body is heavy. Whole body sinking. Whole body integrating. Notice if in your mind, if even for a moment, there was some silence, some space between the inner chatter. Notice if in your breath there's ease, smoothness. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space, the places of restlessness have experienced peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. Letting go of that feeling of heaviness and sinking, replacing it with a feeling of openness and expansion. Every inhale begins to lengthen and bring your awareness to the surface front side of the body. Fingers begin to wiggle and the toes. Allow your head to gently rock side to side. And the arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. And let the knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. Fully relaxed and fully released onto the ground below you. You might even use that bottom arm as a pillow. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today, or an invitation here to set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a we worked on a little neck resiliency, a little wrist resiliency. We mostly worked on a series of leg strengthening and opening postures, a bit of a focus on hip opening as well. The first namaste is said silently, thanking yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to one another and to all that held space for this practice today. Namaste. Thank you to everyone who joined me to practice this morning, who was like down on the ground stretching it out with me, or who just showed up for the meditations, even the people who were just lurking, just seeing what was going on. Cheers to all of you bringing in that energy. It does make a difference to have people here, even virtually, Gracie, if that's you that's on Facebook, I'm glad that you were able to pop in. I appreciate you. And I hope one day you are able to join. So we do get to practice this every day, same time, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Namaste, Bodhi. And, namaste, Papa Mario. My legs feel way better now. Oh, I'm so glad. Try to get like the legs in, a nice leg stretch in every direction. There's always so much more. I always look at the time and I'm like, gotta end. Oh, the link still doesn't work. Okay, I tried to fix it yesterday, but I don't know how. But, right, so I do accept tips for class. Sorry that my link is broken. I don't know, I'm not like, how can I put this positive, affirmative? How can I toxically positively put this? I have room to grow when it comes to technology and coding. It worked in January, and then in February it stopped working. But thank you. Yeah, so Venmo is the best way to send me tips because it's not through Twitch, and I don't really know how to Twitch things. And it's just my name, so it's at Samala St. Pierre. And $5 gets you a private link to this class that we just took together, or you can request a class from a different day, like say you wanted the Valentine's Day class. It wasn't really Valentine's Day themed, but it was heart opening. I mean, it was chest opening, but I don't know, yoga people are like, it opens your heart. I'm like, okay. So, yoga people. I like making fun of yoga people because like I'm a yoga person and all that jazz. So it's all out of love. It's all out of, it's like Portlandia. So say you wanted a different day, you could just send me $5 and be like, hey, last Tuesday I missed class. I would send you that, and then the link does have, or the video does have timestamps, so you don't have to wait through all of this blabbering of me talking about my life and my dog, and you can just hit grounding meditation, and it'll bring you to when that starts. Lymphatic shake, I need to yell, I need someone to lead me through some release. Okay, cool, hit that timestamp. Savasana, I'm like getting ready for bed, I want to relax, boom, hit that link. Yeah, so I've been getting some pretty good feedback about the videos. I do appreciate you. It's never, obviously, it's not required. You guys are invited here every single day for free, baby. I love you, or I wouldn't be doing this. If I expected money, I definitely would not be streaming on Twitch. But the ones of you that are showing up every day, I appreciate you for being here. Lumen Ray, hello, my friend. Hey, can I ask you a sort of off-topic question? Sure, it's tea time. Off-topic questions are hard for me to answer during practice, but after, hit me with it. Why not? Yeah, so I've been enjoying teaching in February too. I know it's been a little like hit or miss while I was traveling last week, but I'm back in San Diego and pretty grounded, so. Okay. Lumen Race on Twitch says, for everyone watching on Facebook, I used to be overweight, but lost a lot of it. Congratulations. Because of that, I have stretch marks on my arms from shoulder to elbow and parts of my legs, etc. What do people think of them, and does anyone hate them really? Okay, first of all, I would just like to say congratulations on losing weight. That's no small feat. And I'll tell you right now, stretch marks don't bother me at all. And most people, Pablo Mario, most people don't mind stretch marks. Yeah, like at all. Everyone, yeah, like legit. as a tiny human being, like I've not like really fluctuated in weight at all. Like I have stretch marks, so I imagine everyone else on the planet does too. I think some of them are kind of cool. Like I've definitely met some chicks who after pregnancy like have like tiger stripes on their bellies and stuff. Like I think it's kind of badass. It's like a natural free tattoo. That's just me. And I've also will say that I've never in my life, and I want to make sure I speak honestly here, and I'm not exaggerating. I've never in my life heard a man or woman or anyone, like any human, complain or make fun of somebody for having stretch marks, even behind their backs. And I've heard some catty things been said about other people, but I can't recall a time when stretch marks were the thing that was being made fun of. Does that make sense? Not that you'd want to be with somebody like that anyway. Like, really, do you want to be with somebody who's going to make fun of something about you? But I don't know if that helps. But yeah. I don't mind them having them too. I know a lot of women who have loose skin because of babies, and I like them because it's so soft. Yeah, totally. I know guys with stretch marks too. I think like it's just like a human thing. Like we grow. Maybe none of us have enough like vitamin E or like collagen in our diets growing up, and that's why we all have stretch marks. I'm not really sure. Yeah, same. I never heard of anyone making fun of them. Yeah, I don't think it's a thing. I don't think you have to worry about it. Luminary says, I wish people were like that around me. Before my gym's closed, people used to make fun of me and they called me names. That's lame. Where are you at? I mean, you don't have to like actually tell the world where you're from, but just out of curiosity, because I'm in San Diego, which is, I mean, we're pretty close to LA. It's pretty surface level, pretty like the like standards of beauty are like pretty much set. They're not me, but it's all good. But I feel like people are really nice here. Somebody said this to me the other day. It said East Coast people are not nice, but they're kind, and then West Coast people are nice, but they're not kind. Like everyone's just like fake nice here. I don't think people are actually fake nice on the West Coast. I think everyone is conflict averse, so they say what you want to hear so that you can think that they're nice. I used to think that was a bad thing, but I'm like, oh, you just don't want confrontation. Whereas on the East Coast, people are like more upfront about it, which makes them seem mean, but I think it's just like honesty. Honestly, Ethereal Bodhi on Twitch says, honestly, I know we're about positivity, but fuck what they say. True life. Seriously, no one deserves to be treated that way. Like, why? Why do people have to be making fun of you? That's so lame. Like, who are these people? Like, how old are they? Sorry, it shouldn't be about age. Like, at no age, like, should people be making fun or, like, calling names? But it just makes you wonder, like, who raised you? Oh, East Coast people cut to the chase. Yeah, totally. West Coast people, you could never get to the point. You could, like, talk in circles forever. But I do love it here. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of charming. I mean, I don't know. It's easy to be delusional here because everyone's telling you what you want to hear. But I mean, that was before. That was when there was people. Now it's just like wave with a mask, if that. Most people avoid eye contact and like avoid other humans at all costs. But yeah, I'm just curious. I don't know if it's like an age thing, because I know that people were vicious when I was younger, and me too. Like I was mean too. I was mean back to them because they were mean to me. Like especially about my weight, but on the opposite end of the spectrum, and like being flat chested and blah blah blah, like just being ugly. Like mad guys were just like, you're just fucking ugly, and I was just like, cry about it. Like why? Who cares? But I cared. I really did. I cared when I was young, and I don't want to minimize your experience, no matter what age you are, because when I was 15, it really did feel like the end of the world when my ex-boyfriend was like, you're ugly, that's why I cheated on you. You know? Like, that was like the end of my world. And I'm not laughing at you or anyone else who's going through experience. I'm laughing at myself and my reaction to that, which was to kick him in the back of the head in the hall and then get suspended for it. which is why yoga saved my life, because I was like 14 or 15 when I did that. So yeah, I like get it. Or I don't get it. I'm not in your body. I'm not in your experience at all. But applying like my experience with bullying and people being mean and saying terrible things to me, I know what that felt like for me. So I do empathize in that way. And how dare people be mean at gyms? Like, really? Like, that's where you're gonna cast judgment? Like, everyone's there just to better themselves. Are the gyms reopening near you? Like, are you one thing that I've found is that like getting a job at the place really changes people's attitude towards you. So if you're somebody who shows up to the gym every once in a while, I mean, it sounds like you probably show up to the gym pretty regularly. I don't really think you should have to change your way of being anyway. But if you were to get a job there and you were the desk guy, like, I feel like, I don't know, some demand of respect for that. But most importantly, the people who are making fun of you are basically just identifying themselves as assholes, and you get to just completely avoid them and be like, wow, everything else that you tell me is no longer valid either or of worth. Ethereal Bodhi says, my strength goal is to have such strong thighs that I can break skulls with that. So I'm crush water bottle. What is it? Watermelons with my thighs. Make fun of me, go ahead. I can squeeze out your brains. Oh my god. I love this yoga conversation. No, it is true though. I'm like, I feel like you're gonna have really strong thighs, Bodhi. Like, probably already more than halfway there. Do we work on that here? We work a little bit on that, like, leg squeezing in. So here's the thing about yoga. It is amazing for so many things, but when it comes to strength, you will eventually plateau. Like, I haven't tried a watermelon yet. You will eventually plateau when it comes to your body weight. So your plank is only ever gonna get, like, you're only gonna be able to like do a push-up to the amount that your body weighs. Does that make sense? Like, your body doesn't change in weight, your push-up's not gonna change. How am I wording this? Am I wording this correctly? Like, you can squat, but if you're just using your own body weight squat, so your muscles are going to get really toned. So it's really good for building like long, lean muscle. If you're trying to bulk up, or like build muscle, eventually you're going to plateau, and there's nowhere more to go without adding weight, which we don't really do in yoga, So that's something to think about. If you are trying to crush watermelons and villains' skulls between your thighs, you may hit a speed bump or a dead end in your yoga practice. I haven't tried a watermelon yet. When I do, I'll send you a video. I expect a video of you crushing a watermelon between those beautiful thighs of yours as you work up the strength to crush it. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. All right, Lumen Ray, I hope that was a little helpful. I know I just like went off on a super tangent, but fuck what all those other people are saying about you. Fuck people who call other people names. Like, that's so lame. Like, you have to be sorry, but if like what you've got to say about somebody else is calling them a name, you're probably not that smart. You're just not. It's like, that's it? That's like the most intelligent thing you could come up with? It's like, you're gonna like call somebody a name? Like, that's kind of hilarious. This is the thing. I worked with kids for years, and I like got to like really, so I worked with kids ages 6 to 12, and they do that. Well, they'll do that to each other. They'll like call each other names and shit. And it's like, okay, you can be like, don't do that because it's mean. It's just like, I remember like being as a kid, like being like, I don't care if I'm mean, like whatever. Not like, it's not a deterrent. So, right, and you're just like calling them a name. You're like telling them, don't call people names because it's mean. So you're like, you're mean, like you're calling them a name. So it's not congruent. Like, kids like don't get it. So I'll just be like, yo, what don't you like about Lucy? Like, oh, well, she's a dummy. And I'm like, oh, okay, like what makes you feel like she's a dummy? It's just like, oh, well, I don't know, I just don't like her. And it's like, no, you do know. Like, why don't you like her? Like, what's up? And it's usually like, oh, she can run faster than me. I don't like that. Or I feel like I'm better than her, so I have to assert my dominance by putting her down so that somewhere I can like land higher up on the pecking order. Like, it's kind of like freaking wild, actually. Like, to really like pick at kids' brains, like once they trust you, and you just kind of get to see like why they're being mean or calling names to one another. Like what do you have to gain from tearing this other person down, you know? And it taught me a lot about the adults in my life too. You know, like, oh, you're incredibly insecure. Wild. But you see me as somebody who can bolster you up on the social hierarchy by tearing me down, and that's your major mistake. Right, Lucy? Right, Lucy agrees. Let's all just be nice to each other. Not fake nice, but like respectful, like legit respectful. Right? And the world would be better. It would be so much better. All right, my loves. Thanks for joining me this morning. Well, my morning. It's not morning for all of you. Thanks for hanging out. Or I'll crush their skulls. Thank you. Or I will send Bodhi to crush their skulls with her thighs. I will see you same time, same place tomorrow. For all of you who are just here for President's Day practice, I appreciate you. I don't think I'm gonna raid anybody today because I think I want to go for a run, and I'd rather like hang out when we do raid people. Thanks for the peeps who raided me earlier. I don't know if any of them are still here, but that was cool. And thanks for all the follows, guys. I think I hit 100 followers on Twitch, which is kind of cool. I don't know. I hit it on Valentine's Day. So that's kind of cute. I don't know. Okay, love you too. Have a good day. Bye, everybody. Happy Monday. And I will see you soon. Namaste.